Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Nic Williams, the Alaskan Realtor with Summit Realty Group here, and today we're talking about my favorite topic again, Fairbanks, Alaska, and we're even going to mention our little brother down in North Pole, the town that's known for Santa Claus and all the year-round Christmas spirit. So what I want to start with is we have all of the fast food that you would want. We have an Arby's or two. We have Burger King on base. We have like 3 different McDonald's. We have Taco Bells. So don't worry, we're not covering fast food today. There's no point in even talking about it. You can find it at every corner in the United States. The unique thing about Fairbanks and North Pole and living up here in the interior is we are not a hub for these mega corporation restaurants. So you're not gonna find an Applebee's or an Olive Garden or any of those types of restaurants. In fact, most of our restaurants are owner operated, which means they're little mom and pop shops. So you're gonna get some unique, authentic food, even though Alaska doesn't really have an authentic cuisine. So let's dig into it, stay tuned, and let's see what we find out today. Our first topic is gonna be the one that's gonna surprise you all, Thai food. It is actually our local cuisine. Don't know why, don't know the history behind it, but we probably have more Thai restaurants in this town of 100,000 people than any other place that I've ever been per capita, including Thailand. It is nuts here. I mean, every corner either has a Thai shack or a Thai restaurant on it, but here are my top 3. So number 1, without a doubt, I eat there almost every Friday. It's become a local takeout tradition for me and my family, is Lemongrass. This one's located on the west side. The owners work in the shop every day. You can go in there and meet the owners whenever you want. They'll come talk to you. They go back to Thailand every couple months to grab a new batch of supplies and spices, and then they bring it back and make amazing food. What I think sets Lemongrass apart from the rest is they use a kefir, so it's a yogurt-based beverage in some of the curries, and it really makes the flavors explode. So if you want some good, authentic Thai food, more from the Chiang Mai region than down on the coastal areas, definitely check out Lemongrass. It is my number 1 go-to Thai restaurant here in this town. Now, I feel like we're gonna leave a lot of people out here because I'm only gonna cover up to 3 restaurants per category, and then I might do some honorable mentionings. But overall, that you can't go wrong with any of the Thai restaurants here. There's been about 3 or 4 different branch-off restaurants from Thai people working at these different restaurants, and it just keeps getting better and better. So the competition is fierce here, but my number 2 would be the Thai House restaurant. It's just a staple here. It's a smaller place, not a lot of seating, definitely gives you that authentic vibe, mom and pop style, and located on College Road. So great location, easy to get to from either side of town. It's pretty much centrally located. Then moving over to the east side of Fairbanks, my favorite Thai restaurant would definitely be Bon Thai. Me and my girlfriend actually had our first date here. So it tells you, Thai food is really just integrated into the culture here. We have a lot of authentic Thai people here and Thai speaking first generation immigrants. So go out there, support these people. They make great food, super authentic, and always. Next up, even here in the frozen north, we love our Mexican food. Now, if I had to complain about any category of food here, Mexican would be the one that I'm complaining about because it all kind of feels the same. Your traditional lower 48 Mexican restaurants. That's kind of what we have here too. But there are 3 that kind of stand out amongst the rest, and we only have about 4 or 5 Mexican options. If you want my feedback, ask for the hot stuff. Sometimes you just need a little bit extra flavor in there. Some of the spices are great, but they just need a little bit more heat on some of their food. So number 1 is gonna piss off a lot of people, but I think it is the best Mexican food, Taco King. I always thought this was some kind of like knockoff of Taco Bell. It is one of those restaurants where you go up to the counter and order and then you take your food and sit down. But their leche, their burritos, their birria tacos, in fact, are my favorite. I can't even find them in other Mexican restaurants here, but Taco King does have them. So Taco King is one to check out. Again, I don't want to oversell this. You walk in there, you're not going to experience 5-star fine dining. What you are going to get is authentic, amazing food, and it probably has the most flavor, spice, bang for your buck out of any of the Mexican restaurants here in town. Right across the street, not too far away, is Gallo's. This is probably the most popular one. They have the most seating. They're really big on the margaritas and chips and that kind of stuff. Overall, great food there. I really can't complain about it. I just like a little bit more meat and flavor in my food, and they give you larger side portions, that kind of a deal. So definitely worth checking out, especially if you want some good margaritas with your food. But Taco King is still number one. And then moving on to number three, more centrally located off of Airport Road, is Taco Azteca, sometimes also called Mayan Palace because they have a takeout side and a sit-down restaurant side. But Taco Azteca is very well known here. It's a landmark if you're trying to get around town. People tell you. My office, for example, is above Taco Azteca, right now, currently at least. So Taco Azteca has a large menu. In fact, the menu is so large that sometimes you probably miss some of the special things there. But their chili rellenos, sorry for all my Spanish-speaking people, I butchered that. But it's probably my favorite dish there. Great spice in that dish. There's some other ones that I wish it was a little bit spicier or just had a little bit more flavor to it, since Mexican food is some of the most flavorful food that I've ever eaten, especially authentic Mexican food. But other great menu items on there are the fajitas and the burritos. I mean, you can get a burrito the size of my face. I mean, they are huge. So definitely check it out. They have one called the Alaskan Burrito, probably the biggest burrito on the menu. If you think you can take it, sign up for the challenge. See if you can finish the entire thing in one sitting. Going right along with the Thai theme, we have a lot of Japanese restaurants here. In fact, sushi is probably the second most abundant option as far as food goes here in town, even though we're landlocked and we're a couple hundred miles from any ocean. That being said, a lot of that fish is brand spanking new right off the boat, coming out of the harbor down in Anchorage, Seward, Valdez, and more. And we have great trade relationships with South Korea and Japan, and we're actually pretty close to them. So we're getting a lot of authentic ingredients. But today I'm not gonna talk about sushi as much, but just some other Japanese options that we have. So number one is gonna be Shogun. This is going to be your equivalent to a Ichiban or a hibachi style grill. You're just going to get a big group type setting. They're going to cook for everybody. You can order what you want, but they're going to cook it all right there in front of you. Do little tricks with all the eggs, the onions, the fire. Definitely a good show. If you're just looking for an excuse to get out of your house and eat some good food, Shogun will meet that need for you. So definitely check them out. Yummy options and relatively healthy in my opinion as well. The only sushi-based place I'm really going to talk about is a place I often take people to lunch. Their lunch menu is fantastic. I'm sure they're great for dinner and everything else too. But Fushimi's on the east side of Fairbanks. It's in a little strip mall. You probably would never know about it if I didn't tell you about it, or if you looked it up on Google Business or something like that. But amazing sushi. One of the better priced menus here in town, because some of these rolls will get pretty expensive. I mean, in some of these restaurants, you're paying $23 a roll. Whereas at Fushimi, especially during lunch on their lunch menu, you can get everything discounted and put into combo form. So you can get your miso soup or a hand roll or some other options with it too. That being said, they actually have Japanese food as well. So if you want some noodles, some udon or whatever, they have it all for you. So it's a one-stop shop, definitely a good place to check out. And just right around the corner there, around those options, you got about 4 or 5 other sushi restaurants. So you can't really go wrong when you're just eating sushi. Next up, and this one is probably not number one. Don't know why I kept it for number 3 on the list, but Oshi Kitchen, and I'm probably butchered the name of that one too, but this is the ramen joint here in town. Pretty hard to find. It's tucked away back in the Railroad District. Definitely use your GPS to get there. You're gonna feel like you're not heading to a restaurant. It looks more like cart exchange area for the railroad. But they remodeled it, made it a great little bar style restaurant. And I challenge you to get any better ramen here in Fairbanks. The only place I would say does it a little bit better would be Whiskey and Ramen down in Anchorage, and that one's a 6-hour drive away, so it's not even an option if you really want to come down to it. That's more fine dining anyway. This is a great spot where you just go in there, you place your order, you sit at this bar looking out the window, and you enjoy your amazing bowl of ramen. Great for a winter day, and I can't recommend them enough. I try to go there at least once a month, and I really enjoy eating lunch there. I think we should take a quick break from talking about food and talk about some beverages, because one of the things that's really flourishing here in town is the brewery scene, the craft beer scene, and a lot of these places are starting to develop their own liquors, sodas, and other beverages too. So even if you're not a drinker, don't worry. They got food, and they have some amazing beverages that are non-alcoholic as well. In fact, Mama Bear Kombucha is probably on tap at all of them. So if you want a kombucha instead of a beer, try that out as well. Number one is kind of a staple here in town. It's gone through some different ownerships. It's been around for a really long time. Silver Gulch Brewing. And my recommendation there is try one of their fruitier beers. They craft everything in-house. They have a whole brewery in the back, but their apple beers and their raspberry beers are pretty freaking awesome, and that's coming from a guy who doesn't like a lot of fruity beverages, so definitely try those. Food-wise, their menu is always changing. I go there a couple times a year, and every year it seems like something's a little bit different, but my number one item on their menu is definitely the halibut tacos. So if you're around, go grab yourself a raspberry beer and some halibut tacos and let me know what you think about it. Number two is gonna be Hoodoo. This is probably the most well-known brewery here in town. Now they got a smaller selection and they make the same beers over and over again with maybe 1 or 2 rotations depending on the season. The Kolsch is a German-based beer. It's a little bit lighter. That is probably their main runner. You see those canned around town and sold all the time. People have their little jugs of beer and really love that one. Personally, their beers hit a little bit heavy for me. I really only want 2 if I'm driving home, and I'm going to spread that out over an hour because their beers are a little bit stronger. They make you feel a little woozy if you have too much. So careful, drive responsibly. If you need a ride, call somebody you know or get an Uber. It's a small town, it's easy to get around, so don't risk it. The troopers are out there looking for you. My favorite one lately, and I do have connections with the owners, I'm personal friends with them, but I just love their variety, is Latitude 65. They've done an amazing job really growing the space there. The location is perfect, easy to get to, plenty of parking, and they have a barbecue joint attached to them, so if you do want a peanut butter smash burger, don't judge it until you try it, it's amazing. Or some pulled pork, mac and cheese. They got all that on the menu. You can enjoy a plethora of beers. Now they're coming out with new stuff every week, and they have the seltzers and the root beers. They have the kombucha on tap and a good handful. I mean, I think they have 10 or 15 different beers on tap there. All the taps are on the back wall and really are all amazing. I don't think I've had a bad beer there yet. And honorable mentionings goes out to their Blood Orange Sour. Probably my favorite beer. I wish they canned it so I could keep a 12-pack at the house, but sadly they don't. So not yet, at least. After that, honorable mentionings goes out to Lavelle's Tap House. So it's not really a brewery, it is a tap house. They have beers from all over Alaska and the United States. They hand select, and I think it's about 35 different beers there. And so if you're just going for beer, that's probably the best bang for your buck because you can try them from Silver Gulch, Lat 65, Hoodoo, down in Juneau, the Alaska Brewing Company, and so much more. So definitely check them out if you just want to sample some Alaskan beers and not drive around too much. They're conveniently located downtown, so really easy to get to if you're on the bus system, or any Uber can take you there pretty easily. Parking there is kind of a pain right now because it is kind of on a corner next to a building that's being demolished. So if you want to park, you might have to walk a couple hundred feet, but it's downtown. There's plenty of parking options, and right across the street is actually a parking garage if you want to pay for some parking. Continuing on with our list of restaurants that you should maybe consider trying, we should talk a little bit more about fine dining. Now, fine dining here is not the same as Las Vegas, but we have some pretty good options, and we go to these places all the time to celebrate anniversaries, birthdays, holidays, and more. Number one in order, meaning the best, hands down, in my opinion, is Lavelle's Bistro. We go there all the time. They have the classiest food here. The average item on their menu costs about $30 to $40, and that is the entree. Of course, appetizers are going to be in the $18 to $22 range, but they have everything from rack of lamb, a handcrafted mama-style meatloaf. They have prime rib, New York strip. I mean, this is as close to a steakhouse as we have here. But they also have other things if you want seafood, king crab, all of that. They will serve it to you in a classy fashion, and they always have a great wine to pair with it. So if you're a wino, Lavelle's Bistro is probably the first stop that you're gonna have. Moving on to some other options, the Pump House is probably our number one tourist attraction. I live right down the street from the Pump House. I love their food, but sometimes it's really hard even for me to get a place to sit in there, so we usually wind up eating at the bar where you can seat yourself and just grab some beer and good food. Now this is going to be where you're gonna get your unique Alaskan food. What I mean by that is your dishes made out of elk, moose, and other wild game. Now this is all going through the USDA channel, so this is not like I just killed it in my backyard and I'm serving it to you. The chef that works there has a great palate. There is a bar menu, which is more like your hamburgers and that kind of stuff, but then you have the restaurant menu as well. So definitely call ahead, get a reservation, make sure you can get a seat there. The tourists all go there, so if you're gonna be in on a short trip, call ahead. Walk-ins are usually not seated unless you head over to the bar area. And then Chena Alaskan Grill. Now this place is only open in the summer, so if you're trying to get some winter food, good luck. They shut down operations. We actually wrapped up our shoot on HGTV's House Hunters there. Great scenery. It's right on the river on the west side of town. Good food, and they bring a chef up every summer to kind of operate the place, and it is high quality food. Again, a little bit more on the tourist side. Not a lot of locals go there, but it is a great place to get some good food, maybe sit on their deck and watch people paddleboarding up and down the river and enjoy a nice sunny day there in the summer. And in the winter, start digging into food options down in North Pole. We're gonna talk about 3 honorable mentionings. Now these didn't fit in any specific category or style. These are just restaurants I think people should know about. So number 1 is Big Daddy's Barbecue. It's the biggest and most popular barbecue joint here in town. A lot of businesses go there on Wednesday for their Wing Wednesday, when you get some dinosaur style wings for, I think it's like $1.50 a piece. Don't quote me on that, but they're cheap. So if you want some good food, some good barbecue, try their brisket, try their pulled pork. My favorite thing there is their mustard-based barbecue sauce. It reminds me of home, living back down in the South. So they do have some really good food. Come at me if you think that Texas is better, or Memphis or Kansas City, but keep in mind those places are known for their barbecue. We're Alaska, we're not, but I think some of their food can really hold up to what you get in the lower 48. And then the side dishes are really what makes their menu explode, whether it's your fried okra, your pickle chips, or any of that stuff. It's amazing food. The Cookie Jar is known as our local sandwich place. Obviously, the Cookie Jar is known for their cookies and brownies and other baked goods, but they have a great sandwich menu there. And if you ever had a Monte Cristo, go there and try theirs. So this is a kind of golf style favorite, but it's basically 2 pieces of French toast with some ham and cheese in the middle, covered in powdered sugar and syrup. Sounds kind of weird, but once you have it, you might never order a different sandwich again. Definitely on the must-have menu for the Cookie Jar. The Creperie downtown, known for its large mural and yellow building, is also centrally located. It is a great place to get some food. They have creperies that are savory, but you also have your sweet treats as well. So if you want something filled with Nutella and any other sweet treat, they can fill that in there for you. At the same time, they have a Philly cheesesteak crepe. They have a buffalo chicken crepe. They have an entire menu where you can think of any meal and they basically shove it into a crepe. I recommend the breakfast crepes, something about egg and pancake batter. You just can't go wrong with it. And that's about it for Fairbanks. We're gonna start diving into North Pole now, so the options are gonna shrink. North Pole is only about 20,000 people, and it is a good 15-20 minute drive away. But don't sleep on it. There are some amazing options down there featured in shows such as dives, diners, and drive-thrus with Guy Fieri, and much more. So we'll cover that one here in just a second. So, North Pole. The town that is known for Santa Claus and the year-round Christmas theme has some good food options. They got a Thai house down there that is amazing. When I lived in North Pole, I used to eat there all the time as well. But Taco King comes back up. And what I mean by that is they are the best Mexican restaurant in North Pole. They do have a second location down there. If you like the one in Fairbanks, why not stop by and check the one out in North Pole as well. I'm trying to stall on the one I really want to talk about because I'm about to brag on one of my favorite restaurants, so we'll keep moving past that one. Little Richard's Family Diner is a great spot. They make pancakes the size of cast iron skillets. So if you go there, you only need 1 pancake. You'll be all right if you can even finish that. Known for their omelets, breakfast food, and more. Definitely check out their menu. Their hours are sometimes weird. They shut down for like a month in January from time to time, but Google's pretty accurate and updated. So if you want some good home-cooked diner-style breakfast food, thinking like Denny's or IHOP, but better, then check out Little Richard's. Definitely one that you need to try. And their sourdough pancakes are amazing. So we talked about Taco King. Some other options are Screw it. Let's jump right into it. Chinese food. When you think of Chinese food, you're thinking of a greasy, saucy little takeout tray, and we have a bunch of those around town. In fact, we have a Panda Express if you want the fast food version. We have Bamboo Garden if you want a little bit more mom and pop. But what I'm talking about today is fine dining on a Chinese scale. Pagoda in North Pole is my #1 favorite restaurant, and I don't get to eat there enough because, like I said, it's about a 40-minute drive from my house. Just not worth it if you're getting some food. But they are the shiznit, and I mean it. I love their food. Their Mongolian beef is the best Mongolian beef I've ever had. Their steaks are great. All of their food is really to die for, and you do get a larger portion than what you kind of need. I'll tell you that 2 people can really easily eat off of 1 entree. That being said, get 2 or 3 options. You can buy half platters if you want, but it's more family style dining. So you're gonna sit at a table, they're gonna bring out these big trays with just your entree, some side dishes of wine, or not wine, sorry, rice, or a rice wine, which is called sake. They have tea and a bunch of other stuff there too. Really authentic, you know, you got the red tablecloths, the big cushy booths, a little dim lit area, but they have Guy Fieri come up here all the time. The owner is actually personal friends with Guy Fieri, so chances are if he's in town, you'll bump into him there. They have a great bar scene too. North Pole has other bar options as well, but Pagoda and the North Pole Ale House are probably the main 2 locations where people go and, you know, the local watering holes, if you will. And that's really North Pole there for you. Again, lots of fast food there. You can get a Wendy's, McDonald's, all of that stuff. But there's some honorable mentionings. One of the things we love eating here in town is pizza, and this kind of covers the entire Fairbanks, North Pole area. There are really 3 places you need to check out. There are more, but #1, the best stop, if you have time to wait for them, because it does on average take about an hour to get your pizza, is the Hungry Robot. My favorite place. They have a wood-fired pizza with panache, I think is their slogan. But they basically have these hand-built wood-fired ovens that they cook all their pizzas in, and their pizzas are amazing. A little bit doughier, definitely great flavors, and they have unique pizzas. So this is not your traditional, they got the best pepperoni and cheese. We're not Barstool Sports here. I'm not gonna give them a 9.7 out of 10 rating. What I will tell you though is if you want a Hungry Bee or a smoked jumper, a jalapeno popper pizza, or even the Dilly Dally, which is a pickle pizza, sounds awful. It sounds gross, to be honest with you, but it's amazing. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You need to check it out. Hungry Robot, look at their menu online and swing by and grab yourself a pizza one Friday night. College Town Pizzeria, friends with the owner, love their pizza. I'm going to go ahead and say what he does not want me to say, and I really regret that they removed their Wicked Chicken from their menu. Ongoing joke between me and him. But I love their pizzas. More traditional Brooklyn style pizza, definitely great options there as well, and they do have a plethora of pizzas. And lastly, I think Taste of Fire. They got about 3 different locations, 1 in North Pole, 2 in Fairbanks, and they have really good pizzas too. There, I would really say get your garlic knots, but don't plan on getting too close to your significant other afterwards because they are packed with garlic. And that's really about it. Those are my main kind of shout outs that I want you to look into if you're coming here just to have a vacation, or if you live here in town and you're just looking for a different change of scenery. Hopefully this list was somewhat entertaining and there were some good options on it. Overall though, I hope you enjoy your stay here in Fairbanks, Alaska, whether it is for a week on a trip, whether it's for 3 years with the military, or for the rest of your life because you're a true sourdough at heart and you want to stay here for the rest of your life. Enjoy, get out there, eat some great food, and in the comments below, tell me what your favorite restaurant here in Alaska is.